When it comes to Chicago's notorious killer couple Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb, there's a striking resemblance between their psychological dynamic and that of the Columbine killers Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris. Both pairs were teenagers when they committed the crime. Both pairs came from lives of privilege and saw themselves as outsiders. Both pairs were highly intelligent and had superiority complexes, looking down on the masses as unthinking conformists. Both pairs had a dom and sub element to the dynamic. Whereas Harris and Loeb were seen as the psychopathic dominant ones and the instigators to the crime, Klebold and Leopold were seen as more passive, mainly going along with the crime due to their attachment to their counterpart. Leopold and Loeb even formally agreed on Loeb's dominance in the partnership. Leopold played a loyal slave who was wholly submissive to his master Loeb. While Harris and Loeb were driven by the desire to make a huge statement and to conquer the law, Klebold and Leopold were prone to depressive moods and felt socially ostracized. Loeb was Leopold's only friend, and in one of Klebold's journals he wrote, "I have always been hated by everyone and everything." Both pairs developed a unique and dangerous chemistry between them, which led to completely isolating themselves from others and creating their own little worlds filled with extreme fantasy. Each one gradually became dependent on the other to realize his fantasies, ultimately inspiring them to grab the attention of the whole world by committing what each pair hoped would go down in history as the crime of the century. For Leopold and Loeb, nothing could be more sensational than the kidnapping and murder of a child for fun. While for Klebold and Harris, the fantasy essentially involved blowing up an entire school. All four would have likely never done alone what they did together. In all of Loeb and Harris's fantasies, there was no instance of them committing the crime alone where there would be no one to appreciate their skill. In the end, however, the pairs were clearly full partners in the assault. Among other details, forensic evidence reveals that Harris and Klebold were responsible for a nearly equal number of murders. As I think about these cases, it's clear that living in a world of unearned privilege can lead to a superiority complex, which naturally induces isolation and loneliness, which can lead to a world of extreme and obsessive fantasy. That fantasy serves as a convenient defense against the perceived lesser-thans, whose numbers and power these privileged beings secretly fear, and if left unchecked can put the fantasist on a terrifying journey of murder and self-destruction. Part of me wonders if by stepping back from this battle of fear and fantasy, are we looking at the tapestry of America herself?